and there is no revenue, I mean, obviously you can make a case of fair share, but my question to you is that I think the town was very reluctant to give the library money. I can even recall one year when Edmond Town Hall needed to have a big repair, and they had a large sum, I believe it was close to $100,000 if memory serves, in a quote-unquote bank account. I don't know if that's what it was in, but that's basically what it was. And the concept at the time was, you know, if you've got money and you can use money that you have on hand, why do you need the public money? So the two questions that I would have is, for you, Joe, and I would suggest that in this particular time, that we try to get that information, or at least some information, for the 9th. I'd like to know what the idea is with the fair share or whatnot, because if there's another town that's going to, like Monroe, that's going to make their contribution based on a claim of what...
Bob, on the stimulus, I don't know, it might have been one of the answers in one of the emails that we got. It's $850,000 worth of projects. If the money doesn't come through, that $850,000 therefore is in the budget to be spent as an expense.
Right.
So, I guess that my question was, is it in the budget? And it is, yeah. So obviously I guess there's no timing on the stimulus thing to know if that could be eliminated because we are getting the money, right?
And it makes it very hard the next year when the stimulus ends to be able to jump back up to our current operations. So it's nice to have something in the budget for roads.
Well, let's say that money was cut from the budget, the $850, just saying, and the stimulus came in, you know, the second quarter or the third quarter of the next fiscal year. Could you spend that money without that money being in the budget, technically, on those projects? No.
No.
It's not there?
Right.
Should I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Joe or Bob? The revenue loss of $2,405,000. I believe in your summary letter and Paul Mangiafico's comments, he said that the Board of Selectmen's goal was to make up the difference in the revenue loss. Now, you've done quite a bit to cut into that 2.4 million, but you're a bit shy. Did you expect that the Board of Ed was going to contribute to that revenue loss?
He was looking at proportionally.
Proportionally, so I'm correct in assuming that he was looking to the Board of Ed to chip in?
That's right.
Bob, just also for clarification, the 2.4 million is inclusive of all town aid, Board of Selectmen, and Board of Education.
All town aid that goes into the budget. So there are town grants in there and Board of Ed grants in there.
Okay, it's all inclusive.
Right. I mean, there are other Board of Ed grants that go into special revenue funds that are not a part of the budget.
Can I just ask a follow-up question? Joe, did you or anybody else from the Board of Selectmen have a conversation with the chairman of the Board of Ed for your thinking on that revenue loss?
No, I did not. I don't know whether Paul or Herb did.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a couple generic ones. Okay. Joe, this question is for you, and you highlighted some of it in your in the beginning of your commentary. I wonder if you could spend a couple seconds and discuss either your thought process as essentially the town CEO, or the Board of, speaking on behalf of the Board of Selectmen to the best that you can, as to what type of conversations you had in regards to overhead in general, staffing, things of that nature, which, as we all know, is one of the largest, overwhelmingly largest portions of all of our budgets. You mentioned that you had some conversations and took some actions insofar as land use. I was wondering if you could talk to, at least to start with, what you did insofar as overall personnel, what you added, what you reduced, and things of that nature, and just start from there.
I don't think we only had one addition, as far as I know during my term, was to the building department, an additional inspector, who, if things go awry, we may have to release him by the end of the fiscal year. But I didn't have any other discussions myself, personally, with any other departments relative to reductions in personnel. These are the ones that I mentioned, you know, they kind of fell in place. We had one man in the highway department died, so one of the truck drivers was taken out of his position and put in as a spare parts department manager. But I anticipate that we're going to have at least one more reduction in personnel.
Okay. And in your opinion, on behalf of the Board of Selectmen, do you think that's a safe assumption, given the economic climate that we're in? Because what I'm hearing you say is that our staffing levels are similar to last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've always felt that our staffing levels are right at the minimum, and the least we can work with.
Okay.
If we have to lay, it's going to mean a reduction in services.
Okay. I guess just to put a sharp pencil to it, how many people this year compared to last, are the numbers in staff the same? Are they greater or less than last year, than what you're asking?
I think they're basically, I think they're the same.
Okay. Bob?
Budget-wise, they're down 3 full-time positions and 3 half-time positions.
And where are those positions?
One in the highway department, one in the Parks and Rec, one in the Selectmen's department, a half position in senior center, 2 half positions in land use,
And one park maintainer.
and one in the Parks and Recreation department. So those things were actually budgeted, and there are actual reductions in the budget. The position in the Parks and Rec department was going to be filled this March. We froze hiring, and it was subsequently taken out of next year's budget.
Just for the sake of clarity, some of the questions I'm asking, I obviously have read and know the answer to, but I think it's important for people to understand. As a follow-up to that, Joe, one of the ones that jumps out at me is the building department.
Yep.
Okay, and I was wondering if you could speak to that, at least for my own edification. How many building inspectors do we currently employ?
We have 3.
Okay, and how many administrative staff?
How many what?
Administrative staff.
1, 2, 3, including the chief, or just secretarials and clerks?
Everybody.
Everybody? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd say a total of 7.
So we have 7 clerical and 3 inspectors?
Well, I'm sorry, it's 6.
6?
We have 1 secretary, 2 inspectors, well, we have 3 inspectors, and we have 1 administrative assistant and 1 building official.
The obvious question that I have in the most obvious department is, that sounds similar to what we had. You're asking for what we had similar to last year. There doesn't appear to be any change. Correct?
Well, it will be, because we're programming a reduction of 1 in the building, as a building inspector.
As an inspector?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the fundamental question I have to you is that would leave 2 inspectors and 6 clerical staff? Whatever the number is, it sounds like a lot, given the environment that we're in.
It'll be a total of 5 that we have left.
Okay. Did the Board of Selectmen have any discussion as to what type of staffing would be necessary in an environment where we're building virtually 0 homes?
Yeah, but the thing you gotta remember, John, is if the high school bids come in, which are out now, they're having the contractors walk through on the 10th.
Right.
Bids are gonna be open on the 25th